What's up, guys? Welcome back to the MSR Workshop. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about the AGT Vixen. This is a fantastic new rifle that I picked up and that I've wanted to do a review on for quite a while, but just haven't had the time. So now is the time. Alright guys, let's jump right into this. So the first picture that I'm going to show you is the AGT Vixen and what it comes with from the factory. Now this is a short version and they make a long version. Currently they are offering it in 177 caliber or a 22 caliber. So here are the two calibers side by side. The long version is 36.2 inches. The other one is listed at 29.5 inches. So about 6 inches difference in the length. Now, I ordered mine from a place called Talon Tunes. Now, what comes in your bag is you actually get a really nice zippered range bag to put everything in. And as you can see, they threw in some stickers, they threw in some refrigerator magnets, they even threw in this little book with a pin so you can start writing stuff down, want to keep track of different velocities for different pellets. They test it from Talon Tunes and actually get the gun set up for you. So you could probably zoom in on this screen here, but my standard deviation was 2, and I think my extreme spread was about 8. Now, my velocities on these were getting about 890 feet per second. Looking over the gun itself, as you can see, the rear of the gun, we're going to start from the rear of the gun and work our way forward. So the rear of the gun comes with this interesting kind of setup. So your bottle, instead of being under the barrel, is actually at the rear. So you have a 250cc carbon bottle, which is nice. It's included a carbon bottle instead of just an aluminum one. So 250cc carbon bottle, you have a little neoprene sleeve over that bottle. You can take that off if you want to see more of the carbon, or just leave it on to protect it. And this plastic buttstock on the end. Now, one nice thing about the buttstock on the end is that little pad on the end is actually adjustable, which means it does slide up and down with just loosening a little nut on the end. So if you want it to sit differently on your shoulder, you can. Now, one thing I opted to do immediately when I got it is it looked cool, and if you want to keep it in this configuration, obviously this is going to be the lightest configuration without adding on a bunch of accessories like I have done, which I'll show you in the next pictures. But the first thing I did was I replaced the buttstock with something that I thought looked a little bit cooler. So the cover for the rear bottle is something that I added on, and I believe it's either for a paintball gun or an airsoft gun. I found this online. I can't take credit for this. Somebody else had done this to their AGT Vixen. Really liked the way it worked. Unfortunately, the rear is not adjustable anymore if you use this, but I thought it does look really cool. Now, one thing you'll have to note is once you slide this on a bottle, it is a very tight fit, so you're definitely going to need to check it every little bit when you're sliding it on to get the length of eye relief that you need for a scope on top before you've shut it all on, because once it is on, it is very difficult to kind of pull it back and move it. Now, the little clippy thing underneath, it does come with something that makes it adjustable. Unfortunately, when you use it on this rifle, it is not adjustable anymore, which you don't really need to put it on. Moving on forward to the front of the rifle, you are going to see this ABS molded plastic grip. It is a nice grip. It's a firm grip. It's nothing fancy. Now, one little cool thing about it is there is a cap on the bottom of the grip, which you can store a little Allen key or 2 Allen keys. So if you need to adjust your scope or need to adjust something on the rifle, you have a place to store a few little accessories. So that's kind of cool. So I replaced the grip on mine with a brand called Form. These are custom-made wood grips. You can get them off of eBay. I believe they're only sold on eBay, but they make them for a few different rifles. They are beautiful. You can get them in a few different colors. They're definitely a premium item. They're pretty pricey, but if you want to take your rifle to the next level, I would give them a look. Next, looking at the trigger and the cocking lever. So the trigger is a super nice 2-stage trigger, completely adjustable, very nice, crisp, firm filling trigger. Doesn't feel any flimsy. There's not a lot of wobble in it. It's just a great trigger. Now the cocking lever comes standard on the left side. Now this can be configured to the right or the left. Now they say it should be done at the factory when you order it, just to tell them which side you want this on. I've not tried to do it yourself, but I think it's probably pretty easy to do. I like it on the left side if you're doing any kind of pesting or field target shooting. Now if you're doing bench rest, you may want this on the right, especially if you're a right shooter, because your arm is going to be, say, under that bag or whatever you're squeezing, and your right hand is going to be coming off the trigger and, doing that cocking lever, so you're not just coming off the bag every time you need to reload. So that is something to think about. But pulling this back is very, very fluid and smooth. Now you'll see where my thumbs are at. That does not come carbon wrapped. I put a little bit of carbon wrap on that just to kind of give it just a little touch, something something a little extra. This is my personal thing, just having some bits on there just all match. So very nice. I think you'll like this if you give it a shot. So next, moving over to the barrel, we are taking a look at the barrel. Now this one is carbon wrapped, and I carbon wrapped this one, but it has normally a kind of a black sandpapery textured surface. And then the foregrip underneath the bottle is made of ABS plastic. And it looks like on the foregrip that it would be made to attach M-LOK. Unfortunately, it does not, and that is one ding against this gun. It's a nice foregrip, but it's really not meant for anything other than looks. Here's another shot of it. Underneath, it looks like you could put some M-LOKs, and they look the same size. And if you're good with a little, say, a grinder, you probably could, shape them to make them fit. Now, I went ahead and mounted a Saber Tactical Arca rail with Picatinny rail on the front, so I can put a bipod on the front. The bipod I'll show you in another shot here is one that I got from Talon Tunes. It's a carbon fiber one, and it works very well. But this Saber Tactical rail is very stiff and rigid. Not the cheapest thing in the world, but it works great. Here's a look at the front of the gun. Now, the gun does come with an internal moderator. Unfortunately, there's no threads on the front to put your own, but it does work pretty well. And one way I've made it work actually better is the whole shroud unscrews. I unscrewed it and actually added some closed cell foam to the inside, and that helps deaden the sound being shot back in the barrel. There's less of a kind of a ting sound that you hear when sometimes you have a hollow tube. That's what people are complaining about sometimes that they're getting, is that little tinging sound. That really deadened it, and actually I think it made it quieter. But when we get to shooting it, I will do some decibel readings. Next, taking a look at our 12-shot magazine holder. This does not come with the gun. This is actually a factory accessory that you can order when you buy the gun, but it holds two 12-shot magazines. So if you want to order an extra couple, you would have a total, have one in the gun, two right below. It's kind of a cool way to hold your magazines, and it makes it look nice and just gives you an extra, say, like a foregrip to grab onto when you're shooting. Here's a quick shot of the Saber Tactical carbon fiber bipod that goes up front. The legs extend, they're spring-loaded, so you just kind of twist that little nut at the bottom there. The legs will pop out and extend. Very easy to position and set, and it's rock solid and very sturdy. Next, I have got an Arken EP5 mounted to the top. Love this scope. Now, the only thing I don't like about this scope is if you're shooting at a closer distance, your field of view or your parallax adjustment does not go into very near or near distances, if that makes sense. So your nearest parallax adjustment is 25 feet. So you still have to be a ways away to adjust this. So if you're shooting something like 17 meters or an indoor range and you want to be able to zoom in on your target, you're not going to be able to do that very much. You could probably zoom into about 5 to 7 on this before you're going to have to start adjusting your parallax and get it in focus. So unfortunately, you're not going to be able to zoom in all the way to 20 to 25 on a really close range shot. Let's go outside and do some shooting. This particular model is the long barrel version in the .22. So let's go do some shooting. All right, guys, so we're out here on the range, and this is the target that we're going to be using to test our pellets and our gun on. These are quite small, as you can see. They're about the size of my thumb, maybe a little bit bigger. And for fun, they've got little scoring things on them. And then they've got the little check marks in each one of the boxes. Kind of like to use those for sighters or whatever you want to call it. These top ones are sighters as well. But this is what we'll be trying out with our AGT Vixen, and we will be using the AEA pellets. And we'll take a look at those really quick before we get shooting. All right, guys, so to first off get started, we're going to go ahead and load this. So we're going to pull the cocking bandle all the way back, and we're going to pop our little magazine out. So the pellets that we are going to be using are the AEA Center Punch 15.9 grain pellets. The tin that this come in is something that I 3D printed, and then I just heated the bottle or the tin that they came in and peeled it off and put this inside so I know what I'm shooting. I might be making these available on my Etsy shop, but I make ones for all of the different calibers, and then it has the caliber written on two sides of the little tin as well. So let's load those up and get started. Just point that in the direction where it needs to go. Fits right in, clicks right in, really, really nice. And then push your charging handle forward and you're ready to go. So we've got our chronograph set up as well. So we'll see what these chronograph at. So 884. 887, 886, 8. That looks really good. Let's do another 5-shot next to it, see if I can get more close to the center of the target. No, that wasn't too. All right, looks like my shots are all running about 880. Let's go take a look and see how we did. All right, so not bullseyes, but the shot grouping is really nice and tight on both of those, and those are both 5 shots each. So just to give you a comparison, this is my thumb on both of these, and these would be both be able to be covered up by a dime. All right, guys, I hope you liked that video. I can't tell you how much I really like this rifle. Now, if you're used to shooting right-handed with the cocking lever, that can be flipped over when you order it. This one has happened to be on the left. Now, on the left is nice because then you can keep your hand on the trigger and one hand on the lever if you're out pesting. Now, if you want to know more about this gun, I'll be sure and leave a link in the description where you can get it. This gun came from a place called Talon Tunes. They have been fantastic. Customer service was fantastic. They got the gun shot in. They sent me a card. Now you saw the groupings on the AEA pellets that I've got, and I will also leave a link in the description where you can pick up a set of those. If you guys like this video or want to see more content, be sure and leave a comment below. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and stay tuned for that next video. Thanks, guys.